Okay, we do the roll call. Ed, are you here?
Here.
Brian?
Here.
Jim Steele is present, and Dick Cody is on his phone
Hello.
and participating in the meeting. Thank you. Okay, we have the approval of the minutes for the January 12th meeting, for the January meeting and the April meeting. January meeting was January 12th.
What did have it?
There was one correction made regarding that meeting. And it was noted in the minutes. Any other comments on the January 12th meeting?
Mr. Chairman, I move the minutes be approved as corrected.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Minutes are approved. Then the minutes from the April 12th meeting, April 11th meeting, I'm sorry. Any comments?
Yeah, I have a question. Under item Roman 6, that looks like the second or third paragraph down there. It talks about a yellow book report. I don't know what a yellow book report is. What's a yellow book? I don't remember talking about this, but I'm just curious anyhow. What's a yellow book report?
I'm not sure what that is.
I don't remember that either, but I can find out what a yellow book is.
Yeah, the auditor said something about it. I guess he did. It says here he did anyhow,
Yeah.
something about a yellow book report. Although if I heard him saying that, I'd ask him what that was, but.
Well, see if we can get a clarification on that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No, Mr. Chairman, I don't have anything else. If there are no other suggestions, I move the minutes be approved as presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Minutes are approved. Okay, we have public comment. Anyone wishes to speak has 3 minutes. I see no public present. All right, public comment is closed. Next item on the agenda is items for discussion. Final audit results. Normally, the audit is available a week before the meeting. A portion of the financial report was available a week prior to the meeting. But I just want to confirm that members have had sufficient time to review the audit.
Yeah, I have.
Yes.
Yes, and Dick, have you?
Yep.
All right, perfect. Let's start with the audit. And who is here from Maudlin or who is on the phone from Maudlin's and Jenkins?
Nobody is here for them.
Nobody?
They came for the draft audit meeting, but I didn't understand that you wanted them here for the final.
No, there wasn't.
Oh, really? What if we have questions?
I can relay those to Mr. Sansberry.
But we have to accept the audit.
But this isn't the final and a book yet. We don't have the final audit until we get the attorney's letter. And he will present then at that time.
This is not the final audit?
There will be no changes other than the attorney's letter being added to it.
Well, don't we also need the opinion? The auditor's opinion letter? I haven't seen that. What kind of an opinion we're getting?
I believe it's in the back.
I didn't see it.
Okay.
I saw the comments and was surprised to see all material weaknesses.
Yes, we'll get to that. Well, I'm sorry we have no one from Maudlin and Jenkins available to answer questions, but shall we proceed with the audit?
Well, I guess, Jim, that as I understand Sherry's comment, we'll have another meeting on this because, to present the final audit, when we finally get the final document.
Yes,
And,
you
and
choose.
and we have to have that meeting before we can take a position on recommending whatever we recommend to council, right?
Yes.
So there will be another opportunity to ask Maudlin and Jenkins questions about the,
And do we have a possible date set for that yet?
We're simply waiting on the attorney's letter, and he was supposed to turn that into them on Friday. But the last I heard, it was not in there, and that is why Wade provided us with these documents instead.
is there a deadline, Sherry, on presenting the audit to the council?
The final council meeting, I believe, is June 6th.
Right.
for
So we
the-
don't have, so we can't wait until our next scheduled audit committee meeting, which is June 13th.
That is correct.
So we have to have a meeting before that,
That is,
Yeah,
or June 6th.
that is correct.
at your convenience, really, because you'll have this provided fairly soon.
Before June 6th?
Oh, yeah. Well, should be next week, I would guess.
Okay. Well, shall we start with the audit? And where shall we, we're going to start after the opening comments?
Mr. Chairman, I have, personally, I have no questions or comments to make until we get to the material weaknesses, but I would like to say that I think the audit demonstrates that the town's financial position is really good and has improved significantly over the 2019, 2020 audit. Our capital assets have expanded, our reserves have expanded, net assets, it just, wherever you look, seems to me, we're in really pretty good shape financially. I'm really pleased to see this audit, even though there are they did find some material weaknesses, but until we get to, that's all I have until we get to some questions about those material weaknesses and so forth.
Okay, I would concur with that assessment. They are in excellent financial condition, done very well.
I just had a quick question on the debt service. And maybe more,
What page is that?
page 35, note 7.
Okay,
So beginning in fiscal year 2027, there's a material increase in the principal. Is that just the way the note was structured?
I believe so.
Wasn't clear in the definitions.
What note that is.
Okay, well, this whole page deals with the state revolving funds.
Right.
Good morning. Just to help you understand, and the chairman may remember this, but when we embarked upon the water and stormwater work, we borrowed money from the state at less than 1% or just about 1%. And as we completed each phase of that work, we could have opened a new loan. And what the state does is they let you complete the work and they give you approximately, depending on when it's done, a year to 18 months grace period before your loan payments start. But what we did is, we, rather than open a new loan as we did each phase, we sort of change ordered the original loan. So what that did is backed up when that initial payment was due. So, you know, I don't do necessarily what you do, Brian, or other business people do, but I know that cash in hand is better than cash in someone else's hands.
Right on.
So what we did is, we made a decision to rather than break out a new loan for each phase, to just add, wherever the state would let us do it, add on to the original loan, was pushed out that service date and increase that service date for that day, you know, for that date that it comes due, but the amount didn't increase, and it just gave us more time before we had to make a payment.
Excellent. Thank you.
Other questions regarding the audit? And this is not our final review of the audit. This is just kind of a first glance, which we will need an audit committee before June 6th to recommend or not recommend the audit be approved by the council. Any other questions regarding the audit at this time?
Well, Mr. Chairman, I have some questions about these material weaknesses. I must say I'm surprised that at least one of them, and perhaps, to be fair, maybe two of them, are repeats from last year. And I just don't get that.
And what page are you on?
Well, material weakness 202103, accounts receivable material weakness, that was one of the findings from the 1920 audit, and virtually the identical problem. Audits, these receivables are being expensed instead of capitalized. Same is true apparently of the payables. And I'm just, well, it's just a little bit of a surprise to see the same weakness show up 2 years in a row, virtually identical. And I'm wondering if anybody has an explanation.
Well, I can tell you that there has been a significant turnover in staff. The prior staff was here up until September 16th. The year ended September 30th. At the time that she left, Joan and I took over, and we had 2 weeks to the end of the year to figure it all out. And we have looked at the findings from the prior years, not even just last year, but we went back as many years as we could to find out what they are. And so we understand them, we recognize them, and we are doing everything we can so that these do not show up again next year.
Well, so you only had about a week, is what you're saying, to fix whatever it is that you might have found.
Well, we had until the end of the year, which was October 1st, and then we worked up until the audit started. And January 1st is about the time that they started asking for information. So we went back, tried to uncover everything. We're working with a system that was very hard to learn, and then trying to understand why they were doing the things they were doing in the past, and then working with the CPA firm that we work with, as well as Mr. Sansbury, trying to understand what the issues were. We tried to fix them as fast as we could, as best as we could. There's some things we just couldn't go back and change, but they are being handled different this year.
Well, I understand that, I guess, and I must say, I don't think the numbers are particularly startling. You know, we're talking about $20,000 of whatever it is, of payables or receivables that were in question, and that's kind of a trivial amount in a budget the size of Fort Myers Beach. But help me understand, Sherry, when you get one of these transactions, when you get one of these, when you notice a receivable or a payable, whatever, help me understand what the entries are. What are the entries that you make when you get one of these?
Well, as far as the accounts payable go,
Yeah.
a lot of the issue that they had were the accruals. So we had some payables coming in that we were paying out that were actually being paid for the coming year. And so we were expensing them they were expensing them at that time instead of moving it into an accrual and paying it off as it goes. That was the big accounts payable issue.
So they weren't accruing them, they were just
Correct.
expensing them.
Correct. So it wasn't being expensed in the proper period. They weren't anticipating those coming up. Accounts receivable was also an accrual issue where we receive money or we have money due to us from TDC. So at the end of the year, we have to turn in all of our invoices, our receipts, the cleared checks. So it takes a little bit of time to gather all that information up to the end of the year. So the final TDC submission isn't done until after the year. That should have been accrued for, and it was not. So then it was being received in the period that it shouldn't have been recognized in.
So it sounds like we'll probably have the same situation this coming year, but at that point, hopefully, we will learn that we must we must reverse those entries and capitalize them at that
Absolutely.
point.
Absolutely, we are.
So, when the staff shared this with me, what we're gonna try to do is some of these sort of issues that roll into the next fiscal year is just cut them off 30 days earlier if we can. So we have more time to deal with it rather than have something come in on September 30th versus October 1st, and then it becomes an issue. So, one of the things I know Sherry and the staff is up there has been doing is being more timely about things. And then if they feel that even with their more effective timeliness of it, if they can't, if we can't sort of manage the situation without more staff, then the alternative would be to just cut it off on August 30th, so that we have September to resolve it before it rolls into the next fiscal year.
Well, either that or maybe more oversight is needed. Maybe
Well,
it needs to be reviewing.
Well, I don't think it's an oversight issue. I think it's hands issue, to be perfectly honest with you. So, if they can't manage it this year, what that means is we just need another set of hands, because we just have too many things happening within this too short of a period of time for the 4 people we have in finance.
4 people.
Yes, sir.
In what, the accounting department?
In the entire budget/finance department, yes, sir.
There's only 4 people.
That's correct, sir.
What's the status? Are you still searching for a finance director?
Well, the short answer to that is yes. The long answer to that is that, notwithstanding these few comments, the 4 people on staff are doing a great job. They have tremendous support from our contracted CPA director. And, again, if they can't, by becoming more efficient as they become more knowledgeable about the system and the timing of things, this is basically this upcoming year will be their first full year, then we may have to look at adding another set of hands up there.
Who is the CPA director?
It's a firm called Bishop Rosasco, and they have multiple CPAs. They do municipal accounting themselves, and they have a resource that's available to us via phone and Zoom for Sherry and Joan to contact, and they get copies of our paperwork. They have access to our system, and they have ongoing dialogues about how the town is doing.
Where are they located?
Their main office, I believe, is in Marathon, Florida, but I'm not sure about that.
Marathon?
And are they somehow routinely involved in our work, or?
They're available on a as needed basis, and they have periodic status calls with them. But I mean, it's from what the staff is saying, that's not the set of hands that they need. It's just it's just keeping up with the routine. If anything, it's going to be keeping up with the routine work. We had a prior director in for a short period of time, and he was very much task oriented and had meetings with them every day and every week about what was due, but that still doesn't get the stuff done. you know, if you're short a set of hands, you're short a set of hands.
All right. Any other questions regarding the audit?
No, just a comment, the previous year, maybe the previous 2 years, there was an issue, I don't recall exactly the nature, but something to do with an educational requirement somebody on staff had to complete.
Right.
I'm assuming since it's not listed in here, that was completed then.
That was rectified, correct, by the actions of the staff, by the actions of this committee, and by the actions of town council.
But actually, I thought we repealed the requirement.
That's exactly right.
It's no longer a requirement.
Right, right. What happened was, just for everyone's edification, is that we had a requirement to take a certain training if we were involved in a wide-ranging investment program, which we weren't. We were just using the standard FDIC money market accounts and CDs and things of that nature. So it became a sort of a chicken of an egg type thing. Why have the training if you're not investing your money that way? Although it looks like we're getting some more money, so, you know, who knows, maybe in the future we may start doing some investing, but, you know, it's very volatile, and, you know, for a town this size, I don't know that I would recommend it, unless you want to have a full-time person just kind of doing that, so. And I don't know that we would reap the yields that would justify that expense.
Understood, thank you.
Anything else?
So it's my understanding we're just missing the attorney's letter stating the outstanding litigation that the town is in and what the potential cost is at. Everything else as far as the external order has indicated is finalized pending that receipt of that document from the town attorney?
That's correct.
Okay.
Well, as Councilmember Cody suggested that they hadn't come up with their opinion yet, the auditor's opinion. And I see that page 1 and 2 were missing here. It goes right to 3. So that's probably where it was. Maybe that's being held back until
That's the signed letter, right? That's,
the auditors,
yeah, that's the signed letter.
yeah, the completed package, right? Gotcha.
Have the auditors indicated whether it's going to be a clean opinion or not?
Yes. Yes and yes.
Yes and yes? Okay.
That's good.
Is that correct? Okay.
Any other questions regarding the audit? All right, we'll move on to scope of work for the audit bid, which,
Mr. Chairman, before you go on to that, I want to thank you for your comments where you, and Mr. Lombard and Brian as well, Thomas, for, you could see that the town is growing its financial strength. It's a very positive change from 5 years ago or so. And, you know, a lot of people put a lot of hard work into making that happen. So I appreciate you noting that.
and it's paid off.
Yes, it has.
Thank you.
Scope of work for the audit bid. We've been provided some material for that. It's my understanding the audit committee does do the audit proposal for services. I think this is the final year for Maudlin and Jenkins. And we need to go out and get some new proposals.
I just had a quick question, and maybe it's why it was highlighted, because there's conflicting term. In one section on page 7, item P says, one-year contract, 2 one-year additional terms for a possible of 3 years. And then at the bottom of 8, it refers back to a 3-year agreement initially with 2 one-year options for renewal. So I just more clarification. I didn't really have a
Well,
preference.
that's what it is, though. It's 1 year with 2 additional years, that's
Okay.
3 years.
Okay,
That is, in addition to that, 2 more years after that.
okay,
So I think they are consistent.
okay.
I think they said the same thing twice in a different way.
So we're looking at a possible renewal with Maudlin and Jenkins.
I have a number of questions, Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
Page 3, first line, To perform a 20-minute, what does that mean?
Which,
Page 3, top line, first line, the town of Fort Myers Beach, blah, 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 to perform a 20-minute. That's what my page says anyhow.
that's what mine says, 20 minutes,
20
yep.
minutes, yeah. What is this 20-minute stuff?
I read that to be meaning that we are requesting proposal submissions from qualified firms to give us a 20-minute summary of what they can do.
Well, then shouldn't it say that?
Well, it says financial auditing services for the town of Fort Myers Beach.
Well, that's the audit itself.
So a 20-minute proposal of,
Well, shouldn't it say that? Shouldn't it say a 20-minute proposal for or something? I don't think really that's the subject of this paragraph, by the way, a proposal, but see, to me, I would have thought the answer to that was strike a 20-minute. So it would be to perform financial auditing services for the town of Fort Myers Beach. Because the RFP clearly is an RFP for an audit, not for a proposal, a 20-minute slam bang.
Okay.
So my own personal presumption here is that the term a 20-minute should be scrubbed. Plenty of other places in here where you're asking for presentations. So it's not like we're gonna omit something. Anyhow, that's my suggestion there. And the last paragraph on that page, by the way, Mr. Chairman, I have a number of questions, so I hope I'm not gonna, but I do have a number of questions on this document, yeah. The last paragraph there, the town selection committee meeting dates. This is sort of a non sequitur that the first time, as far as I know, the only time in this entire document the selection committee is even mentioned is right here. And it seems like it's just thrown in. Meeting dates will be posted. So what? I mean, what's the selection committee doing in this process? Where are they spelled out in here? What are they doing? What are they up to? I know that's Amy's committee. I think Amy probably chairs that committee. And she's fine, but the document to me doesn't explain why the selection committee is even mentioned here. And anyhow, that's my question.
would you like to have that section removed?
I don't know that. I'm gonna leave that to whoever is preparing this document knows a lot more about it than I do. But I question. I mean, if it stays, it ought to stay but there ought to be some additional material to explain what the selection committee is gonna do.
You should have mentioned, well, the audit committee is the selection committee.
No, that's not how it worked last time. We had a selection committee, did something.
I know
The
that.
audit committee's role is specified well in here. The audit committee's role is well laid out. It's laid out the way the statute lays it out. It says the audit committee will select the auditor, recommend, and evaluate proposals and so forth. So our role is, but I just want to make sure we don't get into the same confusion we had last time with that selection committee. That's why I want to emphasize this. Somebody needs to think about what's going on here, or why this is here. Maybe Amy does, I don't know, but there was a problem last time. Dan raised it, others raised it. Why do we even need this selection committee here? But maybe they have a role. Like I say, somebody knows a lot more about it than I do. I just wish they would pay attention to this problem. Page 8, back to page 8, Brian. The next to last paragraph, the one that's highlighted in yellow. The town is seeking, requesting proposals. That's awkward wording. I suspect that one of those words doesn't belong. So one of them ought to be struck. Page 9. under 2.1 general, we're soliciting services for the fiscal year ending September 30, 2021? No. 2022.
Good
So
catch. That's a good catch.
Yeah, so 2021 needs to be changed to 2022. And the auditing statements for each of the two subsequent fiscal years, which had to be 23 and 24, right?
Yes.
Page 10, just a minor point. Office of Management Budget, we probably ought to say US government, United States government there, just to nail down who they really are.
On which line was that one?
At the very top, it says Management and Budget, continuation from the previous page, Office of Management and Budget. I would just suggest putting a comma, United States government, or something like that anyhow. Page 15. .5.3, the total all maximum price per year for the 2016, 17, 18 engagements? I don't think so. So we need to clarify what years we're talking about here. I don't know how you factor that 5 years thing in there, so, but anyhow, that needs to be corrected. Page 16. Here's where we talk about the audit committee, Jim. Page 16, audit committee proposals submitted will be evaluated by the audit committee. Just a suggestion here, comma, pursuant to Florida statute. That way we really nail down and we want to follow the statute. Page 17, I'm a little confused by the scoring here. Technical qualifications 20, audit approach maximum point 40, and then in 2 there's another 40. So I'm presuming that's an additional 40, so that's 40 and 40 is 80 and 20 is 100%, right? That's we want to put that there. Oh, I see. I see what's happening.
it's a-
The C was moved up.
Yep.
So we got to move the C down under B. You know what I'm saying, Sherry?
Yep, I see it.
Yeah. I got you, right, yeah, that's it. Page 19, top, first line. Day of blank 2022. Dick's going to the dentist or something. 20, did you get that, Sherry?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Any other comments?
I just had a question. What would be typical in terms of the number of firms we would approach to request our request a proposal?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I think, don't we just send it out generally, and then we
Okay.
see how many respond?
Okay, got it.
Advertised and then comes back.
Yeah,
It's all according to them, really.
sure.
Responses there are.
Okay.
Any other questions on the scope of work for the audit?
Audit bid.
When do you plan to send this out?
I think at our next meeting, I'll bring to you the final updated
good.
version from
Good.
Amy, and then send it out. And I talked to Jason, and he said they typically have them out for bid a minimum of 30 days. They like to go a little bit longer. I think we have to have somebody selected by October 1st.
Great.
Perfect, thank you. Member items and reports.
Mr. Chairman, I have a member item.
All right. Ed, bring it on.
Well, at the last meeting, we had 3 members show up, and I claimed, I was the acting chairman of the meeting, and I claimed we had a quorum. Since then, the town attorney has disagreed and said we need 4 for a quorum. Presumably, his opinion is based on 4 out of the 7 authorized positions. But clearly, we only have 4 members. Mr. Hughes is deceased. 2 other members have resigned. We're down to 4. A quorum of 4 is 3. And it's just my firm belief that any reasonable criterion for establishing a quorum would be based on the number of active members, the number of real members, the number of members, in other words. And I have some support for that in this sense. A number of years ago, we decided that this committee would follow Robert's Rules of Order. There were no, as far as we knew at that point, there were no established rules that governed the conduct of debate. And I made the motion, I remember the motion, many years ago, that we would follow Robert's Rules of Order, which was adopted. You run the
Yes.
committee then. So we follow Robert's Rules of Orders. Now, if you look at Robert's Rules of Order, and the establishment of a quorum is based on the number of members, that's, to me, a specific term. Members are real people. As I say, deceased members, former members are no longer members. Those who have resigned are no longer members. Jim Holloway, for example, was on the committee for many years. He's no longer a member. He resigned. Not only that, but Robert's Rules of Orders, and this is a little, just have to accept my word for this. Robert's Rules of Orders, Colonel Roberts based his Rules of Orders on the Senate rules, the rules of the United States Senate, which of course were based on the rules established by Thomas Jefferson, who was the first well-known and established parliamentarian of the federal government. The Senate rules, for example, the Senate is comprised of 100 members. If one member resigns or dies, the quorum is based then on 99, not on 100. You don't have to have 51 members of the Senate to establish a quorum. At that point, you only have to have 50. And that I know is true. The same is true in the House of Representatives. There's 435 active voting members of the House of Representatives, so theoretically a quorum is 218. If 2 members resign or die or some combination thereof, the quorum is then 217, and that's the fact. I don't care what any attorney says, I know that's the fact. So that being the case, since the rules of order which we are supposed to follow comply with Robert's rules are based on the Senate, the Jefferson rules. Not only that, but because it's just fundamental logic that we shouldn't be required to have 4 people when one is deceased and 2 have resigned. Out of 7 fictitious people, we have 4 active members, and a quorum is 3. And Mr. Chairman, that's my case.
Well said.
Well, may I? That's all well and good, Ed. But after the last meeting, we advertised for more members, and we've got a tremendous response. We've got four people that have made inquiries and submitted their requests and so forth, and a couple of them are CPAs. There's a woman, Barb Puffer. Jim, you may know Barb. Barb and Tom Puffer on the south end, maybe you do, Ed. Estero Cove, Barb has not only governmental experience as an elected official, but she's worked for corporations, and as I say, a couple of CPAs. So that would bring your number right back up to 7. Now, I know the discussion was months ago or meetings ago was to whether to keep it from, to take it from the what's in the ordinance and change the ordinance from 7 down to 5. Well, it would be my recommendation just to leave it at 7 and fill the committee, and then you won't have trouble getting your quorum. So that being said, that would be as your liaison, that would be my recommendation, and that's going to be coming to us, I believe, at our next meeting. So any discussion you want to have about that, I suppose now is the appropriate time.
Ed?
Well, we're gonna have a meeting before the next meeting, aren't we?
Council has a meeting on the 16th.
Next Monday,
Well, that's,
week from today.
oh, okay. Sounds good to me. That sounds good to me. However, I still disagree with the attorney's position on what constitutes a quorum for this committee. I think it's active members, and I won't pursue it now because of what appears to be a solution. But if that hadn't been pursued, if that hadn't been offered as a solution, I was looking for ways to pursue this with maybe some help from the state.
What do other members think a quorum should be? 7? Or reduce it to 5?
No, you mean, not quorum, you mean the amount of members, committee, the number on the committee.
Yeah, Jim, I'm fine with 7.
7, I'm fine with 7, yeah.
That might give you guys a little latitude. I mean, you can't make a meeting, you can't make a meeting. I mean, you'll always be able to get your quorum. And as I say, these are very, very qualified people. And I was amazed when the word went out, the responses that we got, and very pleased, very pleased.
And when-
I don't know if Dick, if you want to comment in on that either, Dick, and if you have a comment about that.
No, I think staying at 7 is fine, but I mean, Ed was making a case that how can you have a quorum when someone died and someone resigned and the committee is not 7? That's what's authorized.
Well,
But if you go to 7, then
Yeah.
4 is quorum.
I don't want to get into the legal argument here with the opinion of our town attorney, and he must have gotten that somewhere, Ed, and,
Well, if he did, he had to tell us where he got it from.
well, okay, but,
I'm willing to look at it.
but that could be, as we say, that's probably a moot point at this point, or
Yeah.
once we fill the positions. So it sounds like you're going to have some more members coming to join you, and it looks, the future looks well for the committee.
Did you say the appointments will be made next Monday?
I'm not sure, Dick. I know we've got the CVs in from 3 of the applicants, and 1 is forthcoming, and it could very well. I think the clerk did tell me that the ordinance will be on next Monday's meeting for all the committees, for the numbers of the members and so forth and different appointments. So I think it very, very well may be next Monday.
Yeah.
So
Very good.
Okay.
Any other member items?
None here.
Dick, any member item?
No, when are we gonna know about the next meeting? We need to make sure that we have a quorum. So we need to arrange a date that everybody can make it, or at least,
Yeah, I think we need to have the meeting before June 6th, is that correct?
That is correct.
Uh,
The Monday prior is Memorial Day. 2 weeks from today would be May 23rd. That should be plenty of time.
May 23rd, I have my annual physical.
Okay.
Could we do it like the
We
20,
could have it on a different day if,
Yeah, any day is
there's no other committee meetings going on. You know, it doesn't have to be Monday if there's an opening day.
yep. I'm available any day other than the 23rd.
Can we tentative for the 24th, and I'll verify that the chambers is available with the clerk?
Well, I
By
guess the
me.
24th will be okay, but I'm not, I don't have my schedule here, but I'll be happy to consider that. Absolutely.
Let's do that as a tentative date then, May 24th.
Yes.
I think the clerk is watching right now, and if she can pull up her schedule, maybe we can get notice before we adjourn here, how that date looks.
And when you get the auditor's opinion, I'd appreciate it if you could email that to all the members.
Absolutely. Would you like me to request that he be available at the next meeting as well?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
And that, what's he, Sansbury?
yes.
What's his first name?
Wade,
Wade Sansbury? Okay.
Okay.
thank you.
Okay, we just got the word that May 24th is okay from the town's point of view here for the room. So if you gentlemen want to check your schedules, then get back to the clerk, then we'll set it up.
May 24th works for me, 9 a.m.
Yes.
I think I'm okay.
And,
We'll need a quorum.
Check, Jim?
okay,
Sure to confirm?
we just have the other two confirm and we'll set that.
We'll need all four of you for a quorum now. Sorry, Ed.
Anything else to come before the committee? Well, we are adjourned at 9:47.
Very good.